Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back. Appreciate y'all being here. I really do. I hope everybody's had a great day. I just kind of want to talk about a couple little things, and I'm going to do a future video on doing your own freeze drying kind of stuff. For your own food and stuff. Kind of maybe important to some to be able to do it on your own. It's a little more drawn into than what some people think. You just don't make freeze-dried food. If you have the money, the capital, then you need a freeze dryer, or at least a dehydrator. And, they're not cheap. So, but that's kind of like what you need in a way to make your own stuff. But I'll talk about that here in a later one. Today, I just kind of wanted to say what this is. That is called hard tack. Hard tack. It's a biscuit. Now, you can look up, there's a few recipes out there to make it. There's people now going and taking hardtack that was made in the Civil War and taking it out, busting it up, and you stick it in like a soup broth or, beef broth or a chicken broth. Let it soak. Because if you eat this thing like this, it'll break a tooth because this is not made to eat like this. But what you do is you go ahead and bake it. You cut it up. You follow the recipe. It's not hard at all. And then you store it. You stick it in baggies like that. And then you stick it in an airtight little container. And believe it or not, I use these. Perfect little container. They're hard, they're sturdy, they're airtight. And these things will literally last indefinitely. 100 years, 150 years, not a problem. They last forever. Keep them in their little containers and stuff. Keep them, about as airtight as you can. Keep them in a cool, dry place like you do all storable food and stuff like that. It'll last forever. But they gave this stuff to the Civil War soldiers, both sides. And they would carry this with them, maybe in their pack or maybe in their, pockets and stuff like that. And then later that night or whenever they were going to eat, they could even soak it in water because it soaks, absorbs it all because this no water. There's no moisture in that whatsoever. And so you soak it for a while. And then it's a biscuit, and they're not a bad biscuit, considering if you didn't have a lot of food and, stuff was getting kind of tight and you had hardtack, you could just eat that, because like I said, it's a biscuit. It's like eating a biscuit. So that's just one thing I just kind of wanted to bring to your attention, because a lot of people may not know about it. Maybe they don't even think about it. But if you want something that's long-term, I mean really long-term, hardtack is one way to go. And you can make them bigger than these little bites. You can make them pretty good. You can make them sheet size. I baked a bunch of them sheet size, cut them, broke them up when they were soft. And after you bake them, boy, they're hard as a rock. And trust me, they'll last forever. I mean, they'll last, like I said, 150, 200 years or more. A lot longer than you'll be around. So just food for thought, And technically it is food. Like I said, it's a biscuit. And, they make a good biscuit. So, and you put a little butter on them when they're nice and soft, and stuff like that. Sprinkle a little cinnamon or something like on that. Not bad at all. So that's all I want to talk about. Just want to let you know I am planning on some things here that will kind of give you some information on doing a lot of this other stuff yourself, freeze drying and stuff like that. It's a process. It's not just as easy as flicking on a switch and you've got freeze dried food. Don't work that way. So I just wanted to say a little bit about hardtack, and so I did. It's nothing but love for you. Thanks for stopping by. Something to think about. It really is. Hardtack lasts forever. Make 4 or 5 pounds of it, and you're golden. You're golden. You never go hungry with that crap. So just saying. All right, then. Y'all be good. Take care. Be careful in your areas, because it's like I said, it's beginning. It's beginning. So take care. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.